Hi ladies, welcome to day one of this 3-day workshop on all things menopause as we try to navigate our way through staying or even becoming healthy during peri and postmenopause. So first I want to define what menopause is. Menopause is 1 day of your life, just 1 day. You're actually either pre-menopause when you are early on in your reproductive years, you're peri-menopausal when your cycle begins to change a little bit and your hormones are changing as well. That can last up to 10 years or longer. It could also be very, very short. And then there's 1 day that you go without a period for 12 months. And on that day, you are now menopausal. The next day, you are postmenopausal. So I just wanted to kind of clarify a couple of those definitions first before we begin. And if you are without your period for 10 months or 11 months, and then you have a period, no matter how light it can be or how short it can be, you must start over with month number 1 the following month. So it's a fun little game we get to play as we're going from pre to peri to postmenopause. But in this workshop, we're gonna keep it pretty light and discuss a couple of different things in regards to our days ahead. One's going to be fitness and how we should be working out, getting a bigger bang for our buck with what we're doing. It's not like how we used to work out in our 20s and 30s. And then we'll discuss what we should be eating these days and how to keep that pretty light in your mind as well, so that you're not getting bogged down with numbers or getting overwhelmed with what you should or shouldn't be eating. We don't want to look at it like that. And then lastly, we're going to talk about self-care, because in my mind, that is the most important thing. If you can practice self-care and you can really put yourself on the list of people that you need to take care of, then I think that what follows suit is where you're going to start being more active so that you take care of your body, and you're going to start eating more in a more nourishing manner so that you can, again, take care of your body. What we want to do as we age is to get there with as little problem as possible and steering as clear from disease as we can. We want to stay mobile. We want to stay active. We do not want to be a burden on anyone else. So I think I'm not alone when that's how I'm looking at my days ahead. And so that's why I thought it would be a good little moment for us to get together and talk about these 3 little subjects. So today we're going to be discussing fitness. Quick intro, my name is Lisa Dittmar. My company is called Dittmar Fitness and Health. I'm a certified personal trainer with background. Actually, my background starts back in cancer treatment, where I was a radiation therapist for a number of years. And then life changes happened. And I found myself, after a couple of different fun little hallways to walk down, I found myself opening the door to personal training and group fitness at the time. And so I have 9 years experience working in the most amazing physical therapy office that I think anybody can come across. I learned a lot from them on how to help people continue reaching for their goals physically and also mentally, regardless of their medical limitations or their just physical limitations. And then I'm also a holistic health coach. I went to school for health coaching because I wasn't able to help my clients with the nutrition guidance. And I didn't want to be eat this, don't that, eat that, not this. I wanted it to be more of like, what do you enjoy eating? What doesn't your body really like that maybe you indulge in? And how do we balance that along with how do we balance our social life, our career, our spirituality, and of course our physical fitness. So that's what I do in my career these days, and I love it. I have a great passion for it, and I thought this would be a nice way for you to get a window into what I do with my clients on a regular basis. So if you want more information on that, please contact me. There are several different ways that I think you can see here on the screen that you can reach me. So please do with any questions. Okay, so let's talk about fitness. A couple things to know. I'm going to keep this as simple as possible because I have restarted this video about 1,100 times trying to figure out how to get this message across to you very clearly and without getting too deep into the details of it all, because hormones are incredibly complex. I have no business talking to you about the intricacies of hormones and how they work and how they change over time. So I'm going to keep it, again, very, very simple. Now, if I was health coaching you, we would get into it a lot deeper. I would have you go get tested, find out what those levels are, and then give you guidance from there. But today we're going to talk about, number one, is how estrogen affects your muscle when you work out. When she's healthy and she's balanced, she's at a good level, she's going to tell that muscle cell to contract. That's her job, amongst a billion other jobs that she has. During your workout, that's what she's doing. She also is very, very important in the whole bone development and bone health. So in your workouts, she's telling the muscle to contract. Over time, estrogen declines, and it declines rapidly as we age. So we have to find a whole different way to tell the muscle to contract, because as it's not getting that nudge from her, we start losing strength, we start losing endurance, and we definitely start losing our health within the muscle itself. So from that, there can be fat infiltration, which just causes, picture the marbling. We don't want that within our muscle. We want it to be healthy and strong and full of those muscle cells and fibers. And so we have to find a different way to do that, to get that muscle to contract. And that is through the central nervous system, which is triggered for our contraction and our muscle health by lifting heavy weights. I know the first question that you're going to have is, I don't lift weights right now at all. So you're telling me to go out and lift 50 pounds because I consider that heavy, and then I'm going to get injured. Well, it's not. That is not at all what I'm going to be telling you today. I want you to start where you need to start. So let's give an example. Let's say that you're going to do a squat, and you haven't done a squat besides maybe reaching down to the floor to pick up something off the floor. You haven't done anything in your fitness in years. I would say your body weight is perfect. Just working with body weight. I can tell you that when I used to teach boot camp, when everybody came into class in the morning, if I had all this equipment set up and weights everywhere and this, that, and the other, everybody's like, okay, yeah, we got this. This is good. I kind of figured this out. If they walked in and I had nothing set up but mats on the floor, they knew it was body weight, and almost every one of them wanted to leave. Seriously. Because body weight is an incredible way for you to start building your strength and your endurance. So leave the ego at the door, ladies, and start with body weight if that's where you are. Okay, so the guidance I want to give you here is 12 to 15 reps with good form the whole time within that range, whatever weights you're lifting. So if you're, let's say right now you've got 15-pound weights in each hand and you're doing your squats, and you could go up to maybe 20 or 25 reps really before you feel like your form is going to be compromised, then I want you to increase your weight. So that's how you know whether you should go up. And progressive overload is where you want to be in your workouts. You should have goals with your workouts. It's not just you're going to go out and lift weights for half an hour or anything. It's where you really do have a purpose within your activity. So that would mean that also if you could only do 7 or 8 reps before you feel like your form was getting a little bit wonky, then I would say back off your weight just a little bit and see if you can get up into that 12 to 15 rep range with good form. Now, let's say that you've been lifting weights for quite a while and you're holding a 45-pound bar on your back and you've got plates and you're doing progressive overload at this point. At this point, I'm hopefully you've been working with actually everyone. If you haven't worked out before and you need guidance, especially on your form, or if you're working out pretty heavy and you need a spotter, it's worthwhile for you to invest in a trainer that can make sure that you are doing your work and staying as injury-free as possible, and also to help protect you while you're trying to lift your heavy weight. If you're lifting much heavier weights, like I was talking about with a 45-pound bar on your back and you've got some plates on the ends, you're going to be working in the rep range of like a 3 to 5 reps before your form gets compromised. So that's the difference between the two. But I think the majority of us are going to be working with kind of the mid-range to light weights right now, and that would be the 12 to 15 rep range. Okay, that's 3 times a week for strength training. And that should really only take you about 30 to 40 minutes for your workout. Could take up to an hour. It depends on how fast or how slow you go. I can tell you that your average rep time, or how long it takes you to do one single rep, it should be about a 4 count. So let's say it's a bicep curl, it would be 1, 2, 1, 2. So that means that you're doing about 4 seconds per rep. And if you're doing 12 to 15 and you're doing, I usually do like 8 exercises that I think about doing. So sometimes I'll go up to even 20 or 30 exercises and change my time, kind of depending on where I am in my workouts. But if you look at my YouTube channel, which has a lot of stuff I know from the quarantine days, there's still really good workouts. And underneath the video, I have all the moves listed out there. So if you want to listen to me during the workout, I will give you cues the whole way through. But that's kind of a good place to start if you're just beginning really and kind of getting deep into your serious about your workouts and having them make a difference at this stage in your life. Okay, so our next move is going to be cardio. Cardio is not like cardio like it used to be. Cardio is not an hour on the treadmill or on the elliptical 5 days a week or 7 days a week. Cardio is not because we ate poorly yesterday. We are going to be doing cardio purely for heart health and to trigger the muscle cells to respond differently than just the heavy lifting. So you're going to use different fibers depending on what you're doing, which I'm not going to get into right now, but your cardio is going to be in the form of HIIT training or sit training. HIIT being high intensity interval training, sit being sprint interval training. They're very similar, but there are some differences. But ultimately, I would take it down to this today. Your training for your cardio should be roughly 2 times a week for about 20 minutes at a time. Let me hear you cheering. I know you're pretty excited to hear this right now. I'm thrilled that at this point in my life, I don't have to be on the treadmill or the dreadmill or whatever you want to call it for a long period of time. I don't find joy in that. I want to get after it and be done. I want to make a big impact on my body, make it count, and move on my way throughout my day. So look at it like this. I want you to do that interval training where you do all out, whatever that means for you. Maybe today it's just walking briskly, or maybe it's walking up a hill, or maybe it's jogging, sprinting, swimming in the pool, incredible exercise. Cycling, rowing, there's a lot of different ways. You can also do just body weight exercises in a quick, repetitive fashion. And so cardio today, again, can be in a million different forms, but it doesn't have to be very long. So if you want to do 20 seconds of all out movement and then about a 10 to 15, maybe even for you to kind of bring your heart rate back down 30 seconds at a time, and do that over and over and over again for about 20 minutes. I know it sounds kind of boring, but if you change it up with what you're doing, or you're outside and you're able to run or whatever else, that'll help. But I do want you to get that 20 minutes in twice a week where you're going hard and then resting, and then hard and then resting, and hard and resting. And that makes a big difference in your heart health and how strong your heart is going to be. So check with your doctor before you just dive into something like this. If you have questions about, is this exercise, pretty good for cardio for my HIIT training, or what do you recommend? Please reach out to me. I'm happy to help. Okay, so that's twice a week, 20 minutes at a time. Our next one is endurance training. That's just 1 time a week. And that is for like an hour plus. That could be riding bikes. That could be golfing. It could be anything. And by golfing, I mean walking the course and not necessarily riding in a cart. Very different. So you want to be doing something that is going to cause you to be working, but not super hard like you do on your HIIT, but that you do it for a longer period of time so that you do develop that endurance. So again, that's something that you could do for an hour or longer, but it's making you work kind of hard at the same time. And then your last one is going to be your mobility or your stretch, your yoga, that type of thing. That can be 1 time a week, or it can be every day if you want it to. It can be 10 minutes long. It could be an hour plus long. On that day, I want you to think about more like an active rest where you're not going super hard. You're just more of getting the release from your muscles that you need and getting your joints to kind of get greasy again. So as you're changing your workouts and getting into your strength training and doing your HIIT or your sit, your muscles are going to definitely let you know that they're giving you such great big thanks for all the work you're doing and the work that they're doing. And so you definitely need that release and that stretch of the muscles at least a couple times a week. Okay, you could do it just one time a week, but I suggest after you're done with your strength training and after you're done with your HIIT, slow, long stretch. Before you work out, that's more dynamic stretch where you're doing your big kicks, where you're doing your big swings, that type of thing. Those are dynamic movements to get your joints, like I said, greased up, to get your muscles a little warmer, your blood flowing. But afterwards, you want to do some low, slow, long stretches. And again, maybe it's that yoga that you do once or a couple times a week, which is so, so very good for us. And what I personally need most, but I find that I let obstacles get in my way before I go do yoga. It's all about honesty here. Okay, so those are the things that I would say are most important right now for fitness. So as a recap, we've got strength training 3 times a week, 12 to 15 reps per exercise, preferably 3 rounds of each exercise with proper form the whole time. HIIT or sit training 2 times a week, 20 minutes at a time. That is all out intensity. Again, whatever that means for you, for about 20 seconds, and then bring your heart rate back down for anywhere from 10 seconds to as long as it takes. Not to a resting stage, but just get to where you feel like your heart's not gonna explode. And then endurance 1 time a week for an hour or longer, where you're still challenging yourself, but it's not over the top. And then of course your mobility and your stretch work / yoga throughout the week. So that is what it looks like right now during peri and postmenopause. It's going to change or be different for each one of you. I know this. If you're just starting out, you might be 1 day a week in strength training and you're 3 days a week, or maybe you're at 3 days a week in your strength training. Whatever it means to you, whatever it looks like for you, if you're moving and getting strength in there, getting some high intensity work in there, getting some stretch mobility work in there, and doing something that you really enjoy, that you're ticking all the boxes. You're doing what you should be doing for your hormone health and for your skeletal muscle health and for your heart health. And that's really what it comes down to. So if you have questions, please reach out. I know this was kind of a whirlwind. If you're interested in coaching, doing some coaching sessions with me, those are available on my website. I do them virtually. And so I can help you out with any of those things, with looking at how you build your workout week, like what you're doing when and how long, or even what your workouts are specifically. If it comes down to where you're trying to balance things out right now with how you eat and how you socialize and how you're finding some inner peace, all those things, I can definitely help out with that in far greater detail, of course. So, okay, so there you are with fitness. Tomorrow we talk about nourishing our bodies in this day and age and what's going to help us be fueled for the workouts that we're doing. And also it's going to help us and help our bodies and get us in a balanced body composition where we have enough fat, not too much, and we have definitely enough muscle. You can never have too much. And finding a good balance there with the foods that we love to eat. So, all right, if you have any questions at all, please reach out. Otherwise, start writing down today what you're going to do for your workout regimen next week. Start setting some goals, finding a trainer in your area if you need to. I highly recommend even just a couple of sessions so that they can make sure that you have really good form and that you're doing it properly and staying away from injury. Also, again, when it comes down to balancing all these things out, find out what works best for you and your schedule. And as a side note, your strength training and your HIIT training can be on the same day, where you're not doing something every single day. Sometimes we need a little break. We'd like a little break in there. If you're doing it that way, make sure that you do your strength training first. You don't do your cardio first. Do your strength training where you feel solid, you feel ready, you feel strong, and you can lift that heavy weight with good form. Your cardio, you'll be okay doing it afterwards. And also, when it comes to your stretching, remember the dynamic is first and then your slow stuff afterwards. and your endurance only 1 day. So you can really fit all this into 3 days a week. If you're lifting 3 days a week, put a day between each one so that your muscles have a chance to kind of, they're going to, not just kind of, they're going to repair in between your workouts. I personally enjoy doing 3 days of strength training so that I can work my whole body on those 3 days. Some people prefer to do 5 days of strength training where they kind of break up their body parts into groups and do it that way. I like to just get in there and get it done and hit everything and be exhausted and feel great. So, but if you need help there too, give me a holla. Okay, ladies, thank you so much for your attention today, and I will see you tomorrow. Love you. Bye.